from 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh, Odyssey sister station at the Pony Express on X/Twitter. Andrew, good morning, man. Welcome to the Morning Roast here in the Bay Area. 95.7 The Game. Joe Shaskin, a bunch of Bonte Hill. How are you?
I'm not bad, boys. Trying to figure out what's going on with Brandon Aiyuk. I'm very interested in you guys having me on to get your perspective on things because I've been trying to run down this story for what seems like months, and the information is ever evolving. And I can just start you off by telling you, I know for a fact that the Steelers are still very interested.
Oh, boy.
There are a lot of guys in their front office who are looking at that Eagles model with the A.J. Brown trade and thinking, this is the guy we need to kickstart things for us and bring the most out of our quarterbacks who are one-year deals, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. Their assistant GM, the guy who is setting the draft board for them, his name is Andy Weidel. He was with the Eagles before he came here last offseason. So, yeah, if the 49ers want to do business, the Steelers are ready. They're waiting. They're on hold.
Go ahead, Shasky. Go ahead.
Well, so, I mean, I'm looking at it. You've got the 20th overall pick, 51st, 84, 98. And obviously you can go and trade future stuff. So given that you're going to have to extend him because he wants big money, what do you get the feeling that the draft compensation would look like?
Well, so I know that they've had conversations about next year's first-round pick. And I know that there are guys who have very big titles with the Steelers who are in favor of them trading the 2025 first-round pick. And years ago, this would have been a non-starter. Their edict from ownership was we always make our first-round pick. That's how we built championship teams. And that changed a few years ago when they traded a first for Minka Fitzpatrick, and that's worked out great. I also think there's a ton of urgency to win now. They haven't won a playoff game here in Pittsburgh since 2016, which is an eternity. So I think they've got permission from ownership to trade a first. I don't think they want to trade the 20th pick. I think they'd rather trade next year's pick. I think they could trade 51, the second-round pick, and maybe something with that. I don't know. I mean, you guys know Mike Silver better than I do. He's making it sound Chronicle like they'll take a second-round pick, which I was completely baffled by.
Well,
I am too. I love Brandon Aiyuk. I think he's the best pure wide receiver in the 49ers uniform. I get frustrated when he doesn't get enough targets. I thought he's been the best player at the wide receiver position for the Niners in the last 2 years. In their history of drafting first-round pick wide receivers has not been great since they drafted the great Jerry Rice way back when in the mid-'80s. I don't want to do it. I don't like to see it. And you saw Brandon Aiyuk up close and personal last year, week 1. What was your takeaways? Because all he did in that game against Pittsburgh to start the season was 8 catches on 8 targets for $129 and 2 touchdowns. I don't want to get the guy up. It's just driving me crazy, Andrew.
Yeah, that's why Patrick Peterson's not on the Steelers roster anymore. The way he used in that game, he came out and he said, "Oh, Brock Purdy has tells." Yeah. Well, he told him, "You can't play anymore. You're ready for retirement in Canton 5 years from now." So that's why he's not on the Steelers and not in the NFL. Look, they've got a history. They put a lot of stock in what guys do against them head-to-head. And Patrick Queen has played great against the Steelers. They sign him. Russell Wilson has like a perfect passer rating all time against the Steelers in 2 games. They sign him. Justin Fields came here on a Monday night 2 years ago. Probably was the best game he played as a rookie. So they saw it with their own eyes. And Tom was somebody that's a big, like, boots on the ground, see you in person, scouting type. That's why he does all the Senior Bowl stuff, the senior days or the pro days for players. So head-to-head accomplishments, I think, mean a lot with him. So, look, I think he'd love to get his hands on Aiyuk, too. I don't know if he's as bullish. I don't think he's as bullish as some of the guys in their front office, but I also don't think they're going to have to twist his arm to make this deal. I think it's just really, it hinges on what John Lynch and the 49ers decide to do. I really think the second they start to ponder this and seriously consider this and take offers, the Steelers will be ready with a package that will at least get them talking and get them debating the merits of it.
What are you hearing in terms of money? Because we've been kind of debating this all offseason. You're looking, and this guy gets this. Devontae got about $25 million guaranteed with 52 guaranteed $25 million a year. What do you think the Steelers would give him? Because when A.J. Brown got dealt, boom, immediately he had already worked out the contract, and it was announced within hours.
Yeah, that's the complicating part of this for me, guys. Like, the Steelers are operating in a more modern way since they had a general manager change last year. But, I mean, I would think you'd almost have to have a handshake deal with Aiyuk on what that new contract would look like before you make the trade. And I can't see them giving up a first, and then they get Brandon Aiyuk, and they figure out or they discover that what they thought the parameters of a new deal would look like, it's just not plausible or feasible for one or both parties. Like, that would be a disaster. So I think that something's got to get negotiated on the contract front before the trade gets consummated. And I don't know about you guys, but I haven't heard anything about the 49ers giving Aiyuk to do anything like that. Now, to your point, I don't remember the Titans giving A.J. Brown permission to talk to the Eagles about a deal either. So who knows what's going on behind closed doors between agents and general managers. But, yeah, like, just to be direct about it, I think that average annual number is going to be somewhere between $28 and $30 million.
Wow.
That's what I think.
Wow.
That's what I've heard.
Wow.
Because the salary cap's going way up. And look, I mean, after you could make the argument, because Justin Jefferson was dinged up last year, you could make the argument that after Tyreek Hill, there isn't a more productive wide receiver in the NFL right now than Brandon Aiyuk, and he's in his mid-20s, and I think he's going to want to be paid accordingly.
Yeah, I don't want to trade this guy. No, I'm not. Go ahead, Shaz. I'm ready to unload now. I'm ready to unload.
Well, I find this odd because the ethos of the Pittsburgh Steelers, run game. We draft wide receivers, we let them go. You know what I mean? Like, that's, you guys did such a great, I'm not going like 20 years here, whether it's Seneca Wallace or Plaxico or whomever. George Pickens with Brandon Aiyuk and trading for Aiyuk and giving him boatloads of money. That feels like a big culture change.
It is. It 100% is. But they've done things that are big culture changes.
Yep.
They now are a team that gets heavily involved in free agency. They get Queen. They swing the Russell Wilson signing. They trade for Justin Fields. They dump Kenny Pickett after just 2 years when he was a first-round pick from right here in Pittsburgh. So they are acting way differently. So I agree. It's a sea change for them. But we're seeing signs of them operating in a whole new way, in a whole new light. I also, to go back to the Philly thing, the Eagles are paying A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
Yep.
Part of the thing that makes it easier for them to pull off a stunt like this is between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, you've got a combined $4 million in salary, and neither one of them is on the books for next year. So they really have a lot of flexibility to do things and pay star players at non-quarterback positions a lot of money. And I think that George Pickens is a highly volatile, temperamental guy.
Right.
But you could sell him on the idea, hey, Randy Moss played with Chris Carter, Jerry Rice played with Terrell Owens. You're not going to see double teams. It's going to make your life a lot easier. And his contract is up soon too. And if his numbers are good, he's young enough, he'll get paid. So I think that you can have those two guys coexist in one offense.
Wow, with great points, Andrew. You're spot on there. We got to talk to you more, man. I always loved the Pittsburgh Steelers from afar. Shasky knows this. One of my favorite AFC teams growing up. Love that black and yellow, the way you guys do it.
Percentage. What do you think are the odds they entertain offers for Aiyuk?
I think it's high.
Entertain offers is 100%.
Yeah, they're
trading
doing that.
him. For me, I will speak for myself. I feel like it's 80-20. They're going to trade him.
I think it would be a massive mistake, and I think it could get people